Repairing this trunk hinge wasn't something I thought I'd be able to do here in my one-car garage. It had snapped here after years of popping open, and in an earlier video we showed you how to remove these torque rods so that you could disconnect this hinge. After you get the torque rods out, you can bend these tabs back, push out this middle piece, and this part will separate from the piece that's welded from the car. And as you can see, I just had a neighbor weld up where it had snapped, and it went back into place pretty good. So this video is going to show you how to put those torque rods back in. We had to do it after the fact because it is a two-person job, and we only had 2 people here to do it. But this is how we got it done. So here are the tools we needed: a large screwdriver, that pipe tool that we made to remove the spring with, a hammer, and this board. Obviously they don't sell these at the store. Just put a notch in a 1x, and it gives you some leverage on the torque rod to pop it into place. You want to be sure that the hinge that you're installing, you're doing them in the right order, the correct order. So in my case, I went back to the reference photos I took when I disassembled it. I could see which one was on the bottom, which one was on the top, and obviously you want to do the one on the bottom first. And don't forget this rubber sleeve, which is very important to keep it from scratching and grinding. If you've completely disassembled your hinge, you want to make sure that this center pin is oriented properly. You can see it has a hole in the middle of it to hold the one end of the torque rod, and on this 2nd gen F body, that hole in the center part of the hinge needs to be facing towards the window. Now for the torque rod itself, install the one end, the shorter end, through the hole in the center of the hinge. At this point it's not connected, so this rod will be up here. It'll be nice and loose and flimsy. Move it across and put it under this holder here, and that's going to give you something to torque and twist against. When you get to the opposite end, you take this end of the torque rod and spin it until you see that hinge raised to the up position. In my case, this rod here was oriented somewhere around here, facing towards the window. Now to get the pressure on it and the spring action, you need to twist it past that point. So making sure to keep leverage to hold it into that center point, you take your pipe tool, put it on the end of the torque rod, which is oriented this way at this point, and you can hold it up here while you twist it around past these points here. So you need to twist past where it's going to end up being located. Once you get it to that point, you can start pushing down on it to get it under this back part of the hinge. And that was the hard part. In order to do that, while we were holding torque on this end, we took this board, we put downward pressure on it, and we had a second person who was able to use a screwdriver and a hammer and give it a couple taps down and backwards to get it into this notch right here. Once you get it under that notch, then the trick is just to get your pipe tool off the end of it and let it release onto one of these ledges. Preferably you don't want it to fall all the way down here. If you release it onto one of these upper ones, this is more tension, this is less tension. So in order to adjust how hard it is to open and close the trunk, you use these notches. This would be less tension on the spring, which means it's harder to open and easier to close. And this one obviously is the opposite. I hope that helps. Thanks for checking in on my little one-car garage. Have a good day.